Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel that you get what you pay for. And I promise you that. I'm your host. I'm Steve, the long-haired hippie guy. Getting bad. Some people I've seen on Facebook, you're cutting your own hair, and God bless you. I mean, if you can do that, you feel comfortable with that, that's awesome. Pretty sure I'll slice an ear off, so I'm just patiently waiting. Eventually, or I can drive down to Georgia. I can get my hair cut there now here, so we'll decide what we want to do. But I did do something I've always wanted to do. You saw in the opening, I went dancing on a major street. You know, that thing's usually bustling with traffic, nobody there. You can go out in the middle of it, do whatever you want. I thought that was pretty exciting. Check that off my list of things to do, so darn happy. Okay, this is a really old t-shirt. Switzerland. Back in '89, I took my wife, we went on a 2-week vacation to Switzerland and Austria. Now, we didn't have tons of money, but I love to travel. So, you know, believe me, I just rent a car and we start going. I had a couple hotels booked, but for the most part, we'll figure it out. So we get to Zurich, we get on, you know, off the plane, I grab my car. We're excited, we're ready to go, and pull out of the garage, and we hit the road, and I see the very first sign on the road. And suddenly there's this realization in my mind that I don't read or speak German, Italian, or French, which is what they speak in Switzerland. And that's what's on the signs. And it's like, oh crap, what are they saying? What does this mean? I asked more. Look in the glove box, see if there's anything in there that explains road signs in English. There wasn't, you know. There are a lot more symbols, but there's all this wording, and so just start driving, figure it out, just gotta figure it out. And you know, the first night, I didn't have a hotel. We're in the French side of Switzerland. I'm looking for a hotel, and I pull into a town, and not, you know, just, hey, this looks like a town, let's go stay there. And you know, we got one of those hotel rooms with a dangling little light bulb, and the people were nice, but you know, it was a little creepier your first night. And you know, you go to order and nobody spoke English, everyone just spoke French. And so I'm just trying to guess on the meal, and I get this, all these little round green things. What are those, peppercorns? What the hell is this? Many years later I learned that I had my first plate of capers, some meat with like 1 billion capers. Didn't know. Well, let's begin. Cat's outside. Cat says hi. Obviously doesn't care. So we're going to just start off. A new album I just recently got. Pre-ordered this sucker. Isn't that? This is the Dream Syndicate. Wow. Just came out. Dream Syndicate, I mean, it's just one of those important bands. They formed in '81, broke up in '89, but then in the aughts, just more recently, they got back together and they're performing again, which is really, really exciting. These guys were the kind of like the heads of the Paisley Underground in the '80s. Super important. Days of Wine and Roses, something like that. Yeah, their albums there from the '80s are extremely important stuff and really, really good. You know, the Dream Syndicate, actually, the name came from, there was a group in the early '60s Tim Conrad had, and what was it called? The Ethereal, oh gosh darn it. It was an experimental ensemble, but he liked the Ethereal Theater, I believe, and John Cale played it, and he liked the sound of that, so he called himself the Dream Syndicate, and kind of how the name started. This is so different from any other Dream Syndicate. So if you're thinking that you're getting like some of their '80s music or even some of their later stuff, I mean, I'm gonna just tell you right now, this is a whole lot different, but it's really good. They break a lot of new ground with this particular album. You know, it is I guess it best be described as a sonic exploration of music. And it's a 2-album set. Now the thing is, on the second album, each have one song. One song's like 10 minutes long. One song's 9 minutes long. So it's like an EP on the second side. But it's so the shortest song is just under 8 minutes. So again, really different. But they're just, it's just so cool. The first side one is one song. It's the 20-minute song called "The Regulator." It's just, there's like these piles of guitar, but also this kind of a jazzy sax. I mean, I would call it psychedelic jazz, quite honestly, which would kind of fit into this. It just, it has this groove underneath, and that's the type of music that really appeals to me when below with the bass and the drum, and they just keep a groove going, and they do a really good job. I mean, this is just, it's filled with these broad palettes of sound. Really incredible music. It's nothing like they've ever done. They've really broken new ground here. I mean, this is new territory, but they do it in an extremely interesting way. If you're looking for your dream pop, you're really not going to find it on here. But what you're going to find is some music. I mean, incredible, I think, driving music. To drive with this be really awesome. It's just, my car doesn't have a record player. I don't think it had a download either, come to think of it. So, really neat stuff. This is the Dream Syndicate. Oh, it's called The Universe Inside. Isn't it nice when people say what the titles are? Obviously, I have a problem with that. But The Universe Inside, really neat stuff. So next one, this came out in 2018, and it's from Fatoumata Diawara. Hey, as soon as I saw a name I can't pronounce it, well, I better buy that. It's got to be good. I can't pronounce it, which is why I have thousands of records. It came with the CD. This is what you hear playing in the background. This was on my want list for a very long time, and the price on Amazon kind of dropped down. I thought, well, it's time to pull the trigger on this thing, and let's bring this in. Let's see what this is like. I've been on my want list since 2018. So, Fatoumata, born in '82, so fairly young lady, especially when I think of in terms of me. And I believe she was born on the Ivory Coast, but she's from Mali. Her parents are from Mali. And she's an actress, singer, and a songwriter. When she was only, and she's just a beautiful young lady. When she was, 18 years old, she moved to France. Since she's been in France, because in Mali, I believe, in probably Ivory Coast, I think they all speak French. They were a former French colony. Since she's been in France, she's done 12 movies, and this is her third album that she's done. And it's called Fenfo and Something to Say. And Something to Say is exactly what she does. There's no love songs. This is more heavy material, but it's done in a more ethereal way. She has one of these voices, and you can hear in the background, it kind of coos and whispers, but yet everything she emotes with passion, and really makes it very nice. I mean, it's cool melodic Afro pop, but there's songs like Mama that has a real bluesy feel to it, or Negu Negu, I'm gonna play you a track of that, and there's a real nice funk feel. What the thing is, the lyrics. The lyrics are done in native tongue, Bambara, I believe. Bambara is what she's singing in, and it's about heady issues really weighing on Africa. She talks about immigration and basically warning Africans, listen, think about before you come to Europe. They don't like you. It can be dangerous in Europe, just warning you. And so she sings about that. She sings about African identity, being proud of who you are. Now we know in places in Africa, I mean, it's dangerous, and there's genocide and everything happening, which is why a lot of them immigrate. And the droughts. I mean, there's so many issues, and they're looking for a better life. And her whole purpose on this album is just to say, listen, it isn't as great as you might think it can be, and it can be very, very difficult. Beautiful music. When you don't understand the lyrics, obviously the lyrics become an instrument in itself, and it's really, really nice. Great listening, and I'm just truly enjoying this album. It has that on there, and they do have, and this is nice, English, and there is Bambara, or what she's singing. So very nice that they put that on there. Nice find from 2018. How about a little jazz? So we picked this up. This is Oscar Peterson, the trio. Oscar Peterson, he was called the Maharaja of the Keys. Yeah, you have the King of the Keys, you have the Prince of the Keys, you have the Duke of the Keys. Eventually you got, well, I want to be something. You're the Maharaja. All right, sounds pretty neat, huh? You don't hear Maharaja used nearly as much as I think we should. So on here we have Oscar Peterson, Ray Brown, and Ed Thigpen. Peterson, he was born in 1921 and passed away in 2007. Pretty good life. He was born in Montreal. He was trained as a classical pianist, but he loved the boogie woogie, and he would go out, and when he was young he'd play the boogie woogie, wherever he could, and he earned the nickname of the Brown Bomber of the Boogie Woogie. Now that's pretty neat. I like that nickname, don't you? Well, in 49 he moved to New York, and he began to play with some various duos and trios, and finally he started his own, the Oscar Peterson Trio. Well, this is from 61. This was a concert that he did in Chicago, and it is on Verve. Really beautiful, clean copy of this album. Really nice. So it's just on here. He does all standards. They're kind of soft and gentle, but I find really uplifting. I just love the way he does. He plays his piano on this. He does the wee small hours, and it's just this quietness to it, but you feel a happiness within the music. He does, what is it, like Chicago, and I've never been in, what was that? No, Chicago. Sometimes I can't remember. The night we called it a day, or I've never been in love before. Well, what he does is he starts. It's just kind of it just really swings. So you hear this swing going on within the music, really almost like finger snapping. I mean, it's like, yeah, man, this has cool groove to it. But most of it's just it's quieter. Sometimes I'm happy. That was a song I like. It goes on for 11 minutes. It starts really quietly. Then you hear it. Then he brings it up and then brings it back down. But he just expands upon the song and just kind of keeps playing like, hey, I just don't want to stop. Let's just keep going. We're having fun here. And that's what you get out of this album. You get this sense of fun, that he's really enjoying himself. Really neat, nice concert. No, I don't think he breaks any new ground, personally, in my opinion. But it's just wonderful music, and you can find it for fairly inexpensive. So, great Oscar Peterson album, live album, really liked. On my Left of the Dial series, this last week I talked about Ultravox from the 81. It was Vienna. I'd recently picked up this, and I've talked to a lot of people commented about Vienna and the importance of that album to them. Well, this was Ultravox's early, this was their second album. It's called Ha Ha Ha. And this one came out, I believe, in 1977. So Ultravox, they came out, they're part of the British New Wave, formed in 73, and they actually broke up in 88. When they first began, they were called Tiger Lily, which was in 73. But then Tiger Lily didn't work, so they tried the Zips. Didn't work. Well, how about the Fires of London? Okay, we call ourselves that. Didn't work. Then how about the London Soundtrack? Call themselves that. Let's change it again. How about the Damned? Okay, we'll call ourselves the Damned. Oh, damn, someone else is called the Damned, so we can't be the Damned. So they couldn't call themselves the Damned, because another group was the Damned, the big group. So they settled on, finally, Ultravox. It took a while. We had an identity crisis going on, but they figured it all out, and from Ireland, and they became Ultravox. So this was their second album, and this was, to me, it's somewhere in between. It was done in 77, so you know the time frame. This is somewhere in between early glam rock and punk. You can feel both in here. I mean, just the title track, which, by the way, they do not put any of the song titles on here. The inner sleeve doesn't have the song titles. You actually have to have the album to look at this. But there's the very first song is called Rock Rock. ROCKWROK, Rock Rock. And to me, that has this feel of early Roxy music. I mean, you have the punk aesthetic going on, but then there's the violins that are happening, and they pull in these, and it has this Roxy music feel. They bring in the synthesizer for the first time in this album. And they start to experiment with this, which would become a large part of their sound. They bring in a drum machine on here, and what is the name of the song? Where they really the first experiments of the drum machine, and that song was called Hiroshima, My Amor, and it's kind of a primitive drum machine that pops in. Well, they eventually changed the lead singer, and Midge Ure, I learned how to pronounce that right. Thank you from one of viewers like you for helping me with that. Midge Ure came in and really changed the sound of Ultravox. But this was different. This was punkier, and again, some glam in there. Really fun pickup to hear that. It's nice when you can hear how a group transforms and as they move forward what they do, and that did it. From 1967, my copy's from 83, it's the Turtles, Happy Together. Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. You're only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight, so happy together. That was probably one of the very first songs I ever memorized. The lyrics were so easy to do, to memorize, and it just stuck with me. It was such a catchy tune. I remember very, very young age, I could go around and I could sing Happy Together. And this was on Rhino Records when it came out. So, you know, the Turtles, Sunshine Pop, you could call them pop rock, psych, there's some folk rock going on. They actually were originally a surf group called the Crossfires. Then they became the Turtles. But you know how the Birds had that Y-B-Y-R-D-S? They were T-Y-R-T-L-E-S, the Turtles. That didn't stick, so they just became the Turtles as we know it today. And they produced 6 albums from 65 to 70. The song Happy Together actually had been bouncing around. Nobody wanted that song. Everybody, no. They took it and they made it into a classic, a beautiful song. I mean, my rendition's great. They do even a better rendition of it. Really nice stuff. And the B-side of it actually is like the Seasons is the B-side. And that was done by a very young Warren Zevon. I found that to be really fascinating. Well, this was their 3rd album. It came out in 1967. And you know, it's kind of you hear them changing things up, making my mind up. It kind of it's that opening track, and it's a horn-driven song, and it's and you can just hear, you know, there's still this rock and that going on, but they're adding in more. They're starting to expand what they're doing. Me About You was another one on here. Yeah, Me About You. When I listened to that, it had a kind of a Baroque symphonic feel to it. Again, different instrumentations. This was a really neat album. The lyrics are easy to understand, they're fun, but yet there's a lot more going on down underneath with the instrumentation. And the Turtles, they knew how to do harmony. Really neat stuff. One of my very first cassettes, which is before I could buy albums and probably before I even bought 45s, it was the Turtles, Turtle Soup. I bought that in a Louis Armstrong in a little shopping mall when we were visiting Grandma in Chicago. And so I had this Turtles, and I just had one of these little portable cassette players, back in the late 60s, and played it to death. So this was fun to get just for that fun song. Other quick things and we're done here. I picked up this. This is a bootleg from Jethro Tull from 1969. It was a concert that was to be aired in Stockholm in 1969. So, they put out 2 albums. This was, I believe, Stand was their 2nd album. I have to remember that. So, they started as a blues-based band, but were slowly changing, actually quickly changing. So you have Dharma for one on here, My Sunday Feeling, just some really neat stuff. A song for Jeffrey, really liked it. Had this Pink Floyd bootleg just picked up. The label, I forgot to show you the label on this thing. Yeah, big help there, huh? Well, so this Pink Floyd bootleg, this is from a broadcast in Rome, Italy in 1968. So you get that early Floyd going on. And there you can see it's at the Piper Club in Italy on May 6th. Astronomy Domain, Interstellar Overdrive, Set the Controls to the Heart of the Sun. It's just some of my favorite Floyd songs. I really like that early Floyd with that Barrett influences, so that was fun to pick up. And then picked up, this is a double album set from called Adam Hart Mother. The 1000, it says limited edition, collector's edition of 1000. I have no number. So is it really? I don't know. But this here is from a, what was it? There we go, from Paris, concert from '71. So I mean, I enjoy these bootlegs. Some are good, some are bad. One side of one of these albums, the sound isn't very good, but the other sides are really, really good. So really nice pickup. Here we got her done. Thank you so much for dropping by. Appreciate it. I enjoyed my vacation. I warned you about the videos last week, and well, it was like they were the most watched videos in the world. But I have a few more I want to do. There's that new vinyl tag, and I have a contest that I promised to enter. So please tune in for my Left of the Dial. I did my last one this week. Some neat music, background, kind of what we're going to be talking about this week. Thank you so much for dropping by, and I always appreciate hearing from you, your comments. Have yourself a great week. Bye.